Hey everyone! I hope you've been enjoying all the videos I've been putting out lately. It's been fun to take everyone along. I've mentioned in the past videos that I have been purchasing less dolls, and I'm really just trying to focus on like maintaining the current dolls that I have. So in the previous video, I did my first reroute and that was really fun for me. I really enjoyed that process. So in this video, I want to do another reroute. But I do want to talk about the project that I'm going to be working on before my reroute and restoration. And that's going to be, I guess, like restoring my Totally Hair Barbie. So this Totally Hair Barbie uses the Christie sculpt. So you might hear her sometimes referred to as like Totally Hair Christy. I like to refer to her as Totally Hair Christy because she uses the Christie sculpt. She is technically still Totally Hair Barbie. And I did straighten out her hair. I did a boil wash, and her hair is Kanekalon. The fiber is Kanekalon, which is really, it's kind of a magical hair fiber, to be honest. I really love how Kanekalon hair feels. It's just so soft and like light and like fluffy. And when it comes to like long, thin, or like longer, straight, like stick straight hair, Kanekalon is a really great fiber for that. I think Kanekalon is also a really great fiber for doing like really big 80s curls. I don't really have an example of a doll with Kanekalon hair who has really big 80s curls, but because this fiber is so thin and lightweight, it actually does hold a curl and stay up very well. So yeah, I did boil wash her hair. I don't think I mentioned before, but I got her at an estate sale. I got her for a few dollars. And at the time, I actually didn't really know who she was because she had her hair and her bangs pulled back and it was like braided. Yeah, I didn't recognize who she was. So I sent it to one of my friends who's pretty good at identifying, superstar 80s and 90s Barbies. And he told me that it was Totally Hair Christy. So that's really exciting. So I have restored a Totally Hair Barbie before. Those of you who have been watching my channel for a while might remember this Barbie. I got her thrifting, and so I basically had to piece her together. And I did the same thing that I'm gonna do with Totally Hair Christy. And in that video, I showed you guys the crimper that I used to get these crimps. I really wanted it to be as accurate to the original as possible. So what I ended up doing to make sure that the crimps were, the correct size was I took out one of my inbox dolls that had crimps. It was my blonde earring magic Barbie. And I took the crimper and matched that pattern up with, the hair pattern. So yeah, I ended up finding one that was pretty close. It looked pretty exact. So I can share with you guys that crimper, the exact name. So yeah, that's gonna be my first project for this video. We're gonna be crimping Totally Hair Christy's hair. And for the second project, we are rerouting, as I mentioned before at the beginning of the video. And we are going to be rerouting Cara. Hi everyone, it's editing me. So it actually turns out I did not have enough time to complete both projects. So in this video, I'm actually just doing the Totally Hair Christy transformation, and the Cara, the Ballerina Cara, is going to be in the next video. But in this video, I'm still going to give you some information on Cara just in case you're interested. And yeah, so sorry about that, but at least I will have another video out next week. And I received her from a friend in the Netherlands. I think I opened up that package here on this channel as well, so some of you might recognize her. And I did my best to like boil wash her hair and get her hair looking nice, but it's still in pretty bad shape. So originally her hair was kind of like in a low bun. So her hair is already pretty short. You can kind of tell. Basically goes above her elbows. And I think she also has lost some hair. She's got some missing plugs. That's going to be hard to show you guys on camera. And she also has some short pieces of hair next to longer pieces. So I think she would be a great candidate for a reroot. And I do want to restore her to her original hair. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do like a low bun. And then I'll probably curl the ends instead of doing like, you know, a normal bun where you twist it around. I'm just going to curl the ends and make it look pretty. So yes, this is Ballerina Cara, and she does have a hole in the top of her head because her crown goes, there's like a crown that kind of sticks into it. And I do still have that crown. My friend gave that to me. So it's going to be really great to like restore her to her original sort of form because I have the crown, and then I also ordered her outfit. Well, technically I didn't order her complete outfit. I ordered her pink ballerina shoes as well as Ballerina Barbie's tutu. So I'm not going to put her original tutu because her original tutu is like, I don't know, like a salmon pink color. So I ended up buying Ballerina Barbie's outfit, which is like a white version. And it's just much cheaper because that doll seemed to have been very popular. But the thing with this doll was that you would hold it by the crown and you would kind of like spin her around. And she would like, she would kind of like move in a very fancy ballerina way. This doll, since she's very old, she doesn't really do the ballerina poses she's supposed to, but she does have these limbs that move in a very, interesting way. And because she's in a ballerina body, she did also get a different hand sculpt. So here you can see her hand sculpt. It's a little bit like flatter, and the fingers are just a little bit more delicate. Yeah, her hand is actually very pretty. I do like the Ballerina Barbie and Ballerina Cara's hand sculpt. And her feet, I can show you her feet. I'm not sure if you can pick that up on camera, but she does have some defined toes. And they do bend and snap. So Ballerina Cara did use the Steffi sculpt, and she first was introduced in 1975, I believe. I'm not super sure about that, so I'm going to check really quickly. Yeah, so Cara debuted in 1975 as Free Moving Cara and Quick Curl Cara. So Free Moving and Quick Curl were in the same year. And then Ballerina Cara in 1976. And Deluxe Quick Curl also in that year. So I think that's pretty much it. She had 4 dolls, if I'm not mistaken. And it says here that she was also Barbie's second African-American friend, where Christie, who we restored last week, Christie was her first African-American friend. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing with Cara. And I forgot to mention one of the big pieces that I wanted to show you guys. This is a totally hair fashion pack, is what I mean to say. And they did come out with a few of these. You can see there it says $20. I got this at a flea market a couple years ago. I can't remember if I bargained for it or not, but yeah, so she has these little, I don't know, hair ties, hair bows, hair flowers that you can put into your own hair. Because Barbie back then loved to do little gimmicks like that. Accessories for your doll and accessories for you. She has the orange vacuum pumps. So yeah, I'm gonna turn this around and show you guys the other outfits. So you can see the orange one there, and this pink one, blue one, and a green one. So it looks like they made 4 of these for Barbie. And because I don't have Totally Hair Christie's like original dress, her original dress would have been the blue and green version of this one. Because I don't have that, I'm gonna put her in this dress. I've been like really scared to open this just because it's in like very good, the packaging is in very good condition. But I think it would be a great opportunity to kind of like, you know, immortalize this packaging in this video and opening it in front of you guys. So yeah, we'll be doing that today. The first thing I want to start with is crimping Christie's hair. So let's go ahead and get ready for that. Here we have Christie, and I do want to show you before I start. This is the crimper that I use. It's pretty hefty. I do have to say, it's not the lightest straightener slash curler or whatever crimper out there. And the plate is pretty big, it's pretty large, but this is actually what you need. This size is the perfect size for creating those 90s, you know, Barbie crimps. But this is the crimper that I use. I can try to show you the model number. Okay, so there is the information. The model number is EPS816. And I will try to leave that link down below for you. It's not going to be affiliated or anything like that. But it comes with like some separate plates. So it comes with 3 different sizes of crimp. And then it comes with like a flat plate for straightening. Now I only use this for crimping, and I only crimp at this size. So I'm just going to leave the plates in there. Okay, so first I'm gonna start with sectioning her hair. I'm gonna do basically a top section and a lower section. Alright, so I am starting at the lowest setting. The lowest setting is 280 degrees. I honestly can't remember what setting I did the last time I did it, so we're going to start off with the lowest setting, and if we need, we can go up from there. Just a little tip, you want to also spray like her roots and all the hair around her roots. And I would probably even get the vinyl wet just in case you end up touching the vinyl, because you don't want to burn that. And basically the water helps the heat of the iron cool down. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and start wetting the rest of her hair, because Kanekalon hair fiber is very wispy and I don't want any of that to touch the iron while it's dry, because if it's dry it will immediately shrivel up. So with Kanekalon, it does tangle pretty easily, so you want to make sure that you're like combing through that hair before you crimp. You want it as straight as possible. Another tip, because this is like, you know, my 3rd or 4th time doing this now, is to get as close to the scalp without actually burning the vinyl. You know, get as close as possible, because something that I've learned from my past is that I didn't get close enough. So when I was done crimping, you can kind of tell like when the crimps actually started. And it's really nice to get as close to the scalp, because the crimps give the hair volume. you know, that like voluminous sort of like 90s crimped hair that you want. So get as close to the scalp as possible without burning it. And this is a very scary process, so take your time. And if you're scared, you can always start here, like at the end, and make sure that it's not burning. You'll hear it sizzling, and that's okay. The sizzle is good. It means that the iron is cooling off, and that's exactly what you want, because you don't want it to burn. So I am going to start as close to the root as possible. And that's it. So I did hold it only for a little bit because I was kind of scared that it was going to burn. But now that I know and I'm a little more bold, I'm going to do that again exactly where the crimp is and hold it for a little longer. Because the longer you hold it, the more defined the crimp is going to be. Okay, so I held it for a total of like 4 or 5 seconds, you guys saw, and that crimp is exactly what I want. Let me pull that a little bit closer, and I think that's as defined as I want it to be. I could maybe even go a little bit more defined if I'm being honest. So let's go ahead and wet it again. And you want the hair to be wet, and I mean like you want it to be wet, not damp, not a little bit wet. Like you want it to be completely wet. And when I'm doing the second one, I'm going to overlap where I left off. So I'm basically overlapping my crimps. So I'm going to start the crimp actually here rather than down here. That's going to give you like a continuous pattern of crimp. Okay. I think that's pretty good. And I would say as you get to the bottom of the hair, your hair is going to get thinner and thinner. And when the hair is getting thinner, it's going to be in more danger of burning, I would say, because there's less hair in there. So I would maybe hold it for less time. So again, I'm going to overlap the crimp instead of starting where I left off. I'm actually going to start up here where I see the most defined crimp. Okay. Okay. So there's that. And I can kind of see it is getting dry, the crimp, the hair. So I'm going to hold it for less long because I'm like worried that it might burn now that I'm getting lower on the hair as the hair is getting thinner. So I'll probably just do maybe 1 or 2 seconds. Okay. And again, I'm going to wet the hair again. Yeah, so I would definitely advise you to continuously wet the hair in between every crimp that you do, because if you don't, you will be in danger of burning your hair. And people in the past have like sent me, well, it's one person that I have in mind. One person has sent me, or I guess they didn't send me this, but I saw in their stories they were doing a crimp hairstyle on one of their 90s dolls, and they ended up burning it. And I felt really bad because like I knew this person watched my videos, so I was kind of like, oh no, you know, I hope like I didn't like mislead them or anything. So here is your warning, you guys. Make sure the hair is wet, not damp, not a little bit wet. You want it wet. So, and this lower setting at 280 degrees Fahrenheit is working for me. So I'm going to stay there because I can see the results I want. Okay. Yeah, I'm really getting that wet because I don't want it to burn. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to continue along my merry way, and then I will meet you guys after. Alright, so her hair is dry, and I think it turned out amazing. Also, if you're wondering, like, what the difference is in screening, so for Christie, her screening has like brown and green and a little bit of pink in it. I can kind of see her eyeshadow has a little bit of pink. And then Barbie's is just various shades of blue, as well as pink in her eyeshadow. And I actually kind of prefer, in this case, I kind of prefer Christie's screening, mostly because I like the colors that they used. And when it comes to the doll, I mean, not that this has to be a competition, but I do actually like kind of prefer Christie. I don't even have Christie dressed yet, and I'm still kind of like, yeah, I think I prefer Christie. There's something about like the hair in this color, and it feels like it really suits her. And I mean, like, when you really think about it, like this hairstyle, this like crimped hairstyle, I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's, appropriation. It was appropriated from, Black culture, because when you crimp your hair, you're giving your hair texture, and the majority of people with textured hair are black and brown. And in the 90s, it was kind of seen as like a cool, rebellious, sort of like counterculture thing to do. A lot of celebrities at the time did it. And I'm sure a lot of, celebrities, mainly like, white female celebrities, weren't really thinking like, oh, we're appropriating this from Black culture. But I'm sure none of them really realized where that sort of like style came from. And it's just really nice to see this type of hairstyle like on a black doll, because it really does feel like it belongs. And taking all those things into account, I can kind of understand a little bit better why I feel like I prefer Christie in this lineup. Okay, so I did mention before that I don't have the original dress that she came with. So in her packaging, she would have came with like the blue and green version of this dress. And I think that her earrings were blue and the ring on her hand was blue, as well as her shoes. But I don't have that. I could get it. It's not too expensive, in the secondhand market. But I think it would be actually a really good opportunity to open up this totally hair fashion pack that I have. It's the only one that I have. I think she would look really good on it. It has everything that she needs, minus her earrings, actually. It would have been nice if they came with earrings, but these dolls were meant to, their earrings were not meant to be removed because it was probably a choking hazard. But yeah, I do have some extra earrings that I could give her, but I don't know that it would match this outfit. It is the blue earrings that she would have originally came with. But I don't know. Honestly, I kind of like her without the earrings. Like the earrings do feel kind of big and chunky. But we'll see. We'll see what I do. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and then show you guys what's in here. All right, everyone. Here she is. Doesn't she look stunning? Here's a look at her shoes and her weird skirt trim. I don't know how I feel about this skirt trim. It's quite silly, but you know, I think that you have to remember this is for kids. And as a kid, I probably would have loved things like this. One odd thing though is I wish the rosettes actually continued all around the hairband, because it's just like very Mattel of them to not worry about the back. But yeah, I actually really like her also like plain, just with the orange dress. Like I can show you guys what she looks like. So like already, I feel like that's super pretty. It's like 1,000 times prettier in my opinion. And then I can show you without the little hair piece. Ugh, I don't want to snag her hair in this net. This netting really tugs at her hair. All right, here she is, just with the orange dress. I think she looks great. And I'm sorry we never got to Cara, but that just means I'm gonna have to, you know, put out another video, probably next week. And yeah, so I hope you guys will look forward to that one. But before I go, I do want to leave you guys with some outro shots of Christie in my collection.